For more reactions from the Muslim community in this country, we're joined by Ihsaan Gardee. He is the Executive Director of the National Council of Canadian Muslims. He's in Ottawa. So this is another video that portrays Muslim extremists calling for action against Canada and Canadians. First, your reaction to the video.
Well, I think we reacted the same way everybody else reacted, Diana, and that's just, a mix of different emotions. You see this kind of video and you wonder yourself, how could this have happened? There's a sense of frustration, a sense of sadness as well, because there's a human face to this story that we can't forget as well. This young man has a family, presumably, and friends who knew him, who knew who he was, and I'm sure they don't recognize who he is today. So this is something that, when you see it, you're just sort of boggled. How can this happen? How can somebody go from being a contributing, positive member of society with apparently all the opportunities ahead of him in life to somebody who espouses and supports this kind of violent extremism? And it's telling in the sense that what it shows us is that there's no single profile of an individual who is more or less susceptible to violent extremism. We've seen people coming from a variety of different backgrounds, socioeconomic backgrounds, racial, religious, and so forth. And so what that points to in terms of looking at solutions is that it's going to take a comprehensive and multi-pronged solution that's short, medium, and long-term to effectively address this issue. As we see it, this is something that we take extremely seriously. One person radicalized towards extremist violence is one too many, and there are efforts underway as well on a local as well as a national level. Our organization, in conjunction with the Islamic Social Services Association, in collaboration with the RCMP, put together this guide, the United Against Terrorism Guide, which is available on our website at nccm.ca for anybody to look at and to review. But this is a problem that can't be viewed simply as a Muslim problem. This is a Canadian problem. Violent extremism and terrorism affects all of us, so we all need to be a part of the solution.
I want to ask you about that pamphlet, because even as you hold it up, and I understand why it was important. I understand the work that went into it, but even the image, I guess, of this pamphlet versus this video feels like, that there's a real mismatched fight going on there. How do we fight against a video like that can be so persuasive to people who are vulnerable to what's said on it?
Well, this is just it, and this is why I was saying that we need the support of all the stakeholders in this fight. Really, we need government support from social service agencies, mental health services. It's coming to light that this young man came from a troubled background. In order to be able to effectively tackle this issue, and we've been hearing from the government that the Muslim community needs to do its part. Well, we're ready and we're committed to doing our part, but we need help and support, both in terms of just moral support, but also funding as well. I mean, we need to really find ways to effectively challenge, as you said. This is a very sophisticated production that's being sent and targeting.
I can hear the government saying already, okay, funding is fine, but what do you want to do with the money? It's good money after bad if we don't have a clear idea of how we might fix this. What do you have in mind?
Right. Well, we need to look at developing several tools, things like threat and risk assessment tools and guidelines, so that people can understand, what are some of the indications that an individual is becoming radicalized towards extremist violence, being able to, hold open forums where young people or others can air their grievances, and really to challenge and debunk and demystify this ideology of violent extremism, both from a religious perspective as well as a logical perspective. And, that message needs to be clear that ISIS is not just killing people who are from other faith traditions, they're killing Muslims as well. So their arguments just simply don't add up.
And that's the last point that I wanted to get to, because I am curious. I mean, we've heard John McGuire in this video, as we've heard in other ISIS videos, this call that says a good Muslim will do what happened in Quebec, where we saw Warrant Officer Patrice Vincent run down. As a man who shares that faith, what is it like for you to hear it used as an incitement to violence, something that you clearly don't agree with?
Well, it's deeply hurtful, and it's something that we, as I said, we reject out of hand. It's something that most mainstream Muslim organizations, not just in Canada but around the world, have come out strongly against and condemned, and will continue to do so. It's important that we as a community not just say that we're doing our part, but that our voices are heard in this discussion as well. And this is why we need to look at as I said, short, medium, and long-term solutions so that we're not just proposing Band-Aid solutions that may make us feel good, but may not actually be effective in both tackling the problem itself, but the underlying issues that are bringing about this phenomenon.
Mr. Gardee, thanks so much for your time today.
Thanks for having me.
We've been talking with the Executive Director